Hey Arvind. Sorry Arvind, I'm not able to hear you.
Okay. How are
Yeah,
you? All good?
I'm doing good. How you do?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, so thanks a lot Arvind for joining us. So we had you for CC days as well. So
Yes,
and people really liked your session. Uh,
definitely.
so in the forenoon session, Arvind, we had Srinivasa, Rory, and Sandra. So we are going to start off with the afternoon sessions with you, and you are
Sure.
the first speaker for the afternoon session. So I would request you to give a quick intro about yourself, what you're doing, and what your session is going to be today.
The session is about kind of, doing distributed tracing for Java applications. So it is more in terms of, like how do you trace your Java application? How do you find your errors, bugs, and response timelines if you are implementing a microservice, if you are implementing a small app or a large app with a lot of things. I wouldn't call it as monitoring, but it's more of understanding what's happening in production in cloud environments about your Java application. So that is what is about today's talk. It's very crisp, and also like it has a bit of demo. So I'll see if I could complete it. If not, I think the code is available online, and also the slides are up on the online, so that you could also follow me along that. Yeah,
Yes, yes. We'll definitely share across the slides and the contents, and people will definitely go through it.
definitely.
So, Arvind, shall I put your screen on screen?
Definitely. Let us get it started. And
Sure.
I think I have already shared, and then we can start a bit
Yes.
faster.
Yeah, Arvind, so you're good to go.
Great. So thank you for joining everyone, and thanks Confirm and the team for giving me this opportunity to, present this talk today. And this won't be really so heavy. I don't want to burn you down and push a lot of content on you, but I want to just definitely give you a good idea on the technology and give you a brief demo. And we'll see if we could look at more things. So specifically, before starting the presentation, I would definitely like to start with creating the cluster so that we would save time when we come back here. We would definitely have some you know a head start in terms of things. Okay, so this is taking time. Great. So I already have a cluster, but what I'll do is like I'll create one more cluster just in case, and then I type jcloud Azure, and then I'll create Singapore, and then the latest stack, and then I optimize because this is the template which will give you everything, and it also has a bit of like the APM that we are specifically talking about. I'm not going to deep into the internals of how you create this thing. What we are creating, I'll also tell you about that, but just in time so that by the time it takes 2 or 3 minutes, rather than waiting for that, you could just simply go off and start. So about the session, I did mention about it, like say what is tracing Java applications, Elastic APM, buzzwords, or like different stuff. We're gonna go through it and like see more about it. So first of all, I'm Arvind, and I work at Elastic as a developer advocate. I kind of like take part in the open source projects, and then a lot of things around in and around the cloud, Kubernetes, and then many other projects. Quite happy to present at this conference. If you have any questions or things, you could always refer to my blog about the presentations. It's in the talk section, or else also you could also DM me if you have any questions. I would drive you towards this particular area. So the key takeaways of the session: how do you trace your Java applications? Simple, clear, easy way. How do you go and look at that? But basically, before understanding that, I would also want to explain you about the whole and soul, the Elastic Stack. People call it with different names, called ELK, etc., etc. But it is called as Elastic Stack because the reason that Elasticsearch, it's the heart and soul of this entire thing. And then you have it's a search engine, it's a distributed NoSQL data store. Then you have Kibana, which is like a visualizer. We'll see Kibana about Kibana today. And then you also have Logstash and Beats, which are the ingestion modules which will pull data into the Elasticsearch. So that is the thing. So there are a bunch of solutions, use cases that you could use Elasticsearch for, or this entire stack. So one being, observability, very popular. People use it for logs, metrics, traces, etc. And then you also have search and security. Security is like the real malware, antivirus capabilities, or SIEM and EDR capabilities. So these are the solutions. We are going to target a thin slice in this particular solution, observability today, that is tracing. So, and then like the stack is used by quite a few people. If I have to tell you that who uses this stack and what is the use case, you might have heard about Elk or Elastic Stack, but like who uses this? What is the use case? Used by developers, like people who build search engines for popular e-commerce companies in India. Like almost every search engine that you probably interact. I'm not talking about Google. That's a B2C. But like if you talk about B2B search engines, like suppose if you're talking about e-commerce site and like ebay.com, at several experiences that you see search bar and developers who build on top of Elasticsearch to create a search experience, not just front end, back end engineers, a lot of people, full stack engineers actually. Then you see also DevOps professionals, practitioners who build these operational experiences, dashboards, etc. And then you also have people who are in the security world who does SecOps, NOC, SOC, SOAR, or like InfoSec professionals. The entire InfoSec community, they also use it for security, threat hunting, security incident analysis, anomaly detection, a lot of things. Excuse me. And then you also have people who are from the BI community, business intelligence community, or people who have varied other use cases with data science, etc. They also use it as a data store to accelerated and fast forward to find out results in a faster manner, in a relevant manner. So these are some use cases or some people who use it. You might be one of them as well. So that is one another thing to look at. So I'm going to talk about more things. I'm going to also look at the questions and answer them so that like we have ample time to do all of that. So deploying Elasticsearch, obviously you could deploy it on any cloud. It's platform agnostic. You could deploy it on any cloud. You could also run it on Kubernetes. It is not Elastic Cloud on Kubernetes is not a cloud itself. It's an operator that we ship so that you could deploy it in an automated and managed fashion on top of Kubernetes. So that is another thing to look at. And all of these clouds, as I showed you, I spinned up a cluster just now on Azure. Similarly, you could also go to Azure, and through Marketplace, you could also like do that same by still using your credits or your free tier whatsoever. It also comes with a free tier, but you could also use it your cloud credits, etc. So now, okay, the holy grail, like what's APM and how it is related to the session, and what are the things that we are talking about, and what is tracing and what is APM. So all of these questions. So APM does nothing. APM means like application performance monitoring. So if you think about this particular site, like for example, if you are looking at you have a web service in Java which specifically says like get me the top 10 of some specific thing, or the 10th record of from the database, right? And then you are getting a response. Like you want to ask a question, why did my request took 8 seconds or 9 seconds or 10 seconds? Like, or similarly, when you ask for a query to your server and the server failed to give it gave internal server error, or gave a null pointer exception, or it gave a blank screen that you don't know, that you or a user or you as a developer don't know. How do you debug this? How do you find out? Obviously, you might tell me that, okay, there are logs available, there are metrics, there are many other things that you could go and look at it. But let us think it, if given a chance that you being able to know what's happening in the production, where things are failing, or what errors are there, without your quality assurance or without somebody else like a user raising a support ticket, proactively fixing things or proactively finding things, that would be a great thing, right? So APM solves one particular piece in that entire area. I'm not saying that APM is a whole and soul. It has other modules that would help you to do that actually. To better, logs are still important. You have metrics, etc. But then like APM plays a pivotal role. It's a very interesting place. So yeah, like I said, your request response flows, your entire response time percentiles, like how much time that this page takes to load, or how many times it has given 200s, how many times it is giving 500s, or in a specific time period when the demand is more, or when if you're doing something like big billion days or something like it might be giving response time percentage. So in a specific time, how much time it is doing all of this, like that is also another important interesting thing to look at. And then like obviously errors and bugs, we'll see if we could generate an error, or I'll show you from the demo application that if you could generate an error from it. So again, asking the same question, why so important? Like important because, like, say if you are a developer and then you're kind of like deploying your application to the cloud, and then as a user who interacts with application, like consumes this whatsoever your business that you're doing, and then he might be seeing the errors, he might be seeing the warnings, he might be seeing delay in the load of this entire thing. So but when you enable APM in your applications, when you do all of this, it becomes very easy, because your application starts speaking from inside, explaining what's happening, and then you will be able to simply fix the bugs, and then you can have that sort of a similar seamless experience. So this is what the entire workflow as in you could talk about. So it also explains you the convergence of this all three important practices. Like you're a DevOps developer, if you're a developer shipping to the thing, or if you're a SecOps professional, wherein you have the doing this entire security in your cloud. All things go together in cloud, right? It's not just I'm an engineering, I'm a developer person, I just want to put things together. So you need to follow all the best practices. That's where your logs, your metrics, your traces, all of these things, like I said previously in few slides back, where you have these three modules or three important pieces or pillars that play and let you find out the issue in that area, where you will be able to correlate all these things at a single point of time and help you to establish an observable infrastructure or cloud or application system actually. So in precise, like how the architecture looks like is very simple. You have a Java app wherever, however it is running, be it in Azure App Service or Azure Kubernetes Service, or probably in any cloud or Azure VM or any other, not just Azure, any other cloud, or in your on-prem data center. When you enable this APM, I'll also tell you how, when I'm enabling this APM, what does it mean that enabling APM means. So I'll also explain or talk to about that in the demo. So it streams its data to the APM server, and then like the APM server condenses all of this entire thing that we are seeing, we have created just now. Like in the previous tab, when I started this demo, I spin up a cloud cluster. So this entire thing contains the cluster which we are spinning up and which we try to connect through our application and try to get some details actually. So this is how the overall architecture looks like. It's pretty simple. You just need to run your app, and then like it automatically picks up and starts tracing actually. Now, another interesting thing with Elastic APM is it's completely open source, Apache 2.0. You could contribute to it, learn from it, look at the code. So all the APM server, the UI, the agent, all the types of agents. Again, it's not just one language, right? There are multiple languages as well. Now in the microservice world, you have different languages suitable for each and everything, communicating with each other to do more interesting stuff, right? So you could also go and look into that as well. So you have all these reports you could always contribute. The GitHub location is like elastic/APM. You could go and look at that actually. Now, talking about the Java agent specifically, it is powered by a code instrumentation library called ByteBuddy. We are also like officially like we also help sponsor the developer who runs this ByteBuddy. The library, a jar which helps you to do all of this code instrumentation through Open Collective, an initiative to fund open source projects. Then you also have different modes to how to attach to this Java process. So in Java, it is run, all the Java applications run on JVM, right? So through some instrumentation techniques, we would be able to connect to either through a Java agent flag or through different sort of attachment techniques. I'm going to show a very simple one that if you could make one line code change, it will all seamlessly support your thing. It also supports all the major web frameworks, data stores like MongoDB, so that you could trace what's happening, how much time the query took, right? MySQL, PostgreSQL, you'll also be able to see that. You'll also be able to look at, the Kafka modules, like your message queues stuff when you're pushing through your Java application to this thing, and how much time it got when you procured it from that particular message queue, or even app servers like your WebLogic or WebSphere or Tomcat or JBoss, whatsoever web server you are running. It also supports and gets important metrics or data that pulls up and shows you in your traces actually, and it's all correlated, it's all tied up so that you can easily leverage all of that. Now that's not it, there's more. So we'll quickly see a demo, and then I hope that the particular this thing is ready. So I just want to download this one and then see if I could open the Kibana here. So quickly we'll take a ride through Kibana, and then we'll quickly kind of see the entire application actually. So for the application, I'm using a specific technology, web framework technology, which is a lightweight control. It's called Javelin. I'll come to that quickly. So as you see that, it shows that observability add APM. You could click on that, and then you could simply show different applications. Now we are talking about Java. You just need to add that Maven from the Maven Central, that dependency. If you're using Maven, we also support other Gradle. Or if you want to just download the app, yes, go ahead. Even you could go to the code and download from the releases. You could also download a release candidate as well, the future beta, compile the code and do all of that. So all of that is possible. So there's a Java agent flag which is explained here. So what I'll show you is I'll quickly go through this thing. There are multiple areas, but we are going through APM here. So I don't have anything set up. It's all empty right now. Let us see if we could, set up that thing. So the framework that I'm using here today is the Javelin. So which is a very simple web framework written in Kotlin for Java and Kotlin for both languages. And then it's very interesting, and then easier for me to demonstrate quick demos. I also want to give some caveats. I didn't enable HTTPS. I didn't have the authentication base, etc. I didn't do all of that, but I intend to do. And then I just don't want to complicate everything. I took a very small create, read, update, delete application. And how Javelin works is pretty simple. It takes a Jetty as a base. Jetty is a very popular lightweight server, and it writes a smaller framework so that you don't need to implement any interfaces or classes, etc. You just need to simply be able to create APIs, just like your Flask, which is again a popular Python-based application framework that you could do all of this very easily. So yeah, it shows all of this, and then you could learn more about at the Javelin site, again open source project. So I have my code already shipped here. I think in the comments you will be finding this. Otherwise, I'll give you the link at the end. I also have the Azure thing set up, so that I will push my code to this particular place, and then I'll try to deploy it to the app service. We have very less time. I'll quickly go back to the code. So the code that I have here is like this one. So I have few dependencies. This is my Javelin, the project. So let me show it to you here. So I have this dependencies, like you see here, Javelin dependency. Then I have SL4J, which is for logging, and then I have APM, the dependency thing that I said I'll download from the Maven Central, and then the Jackson binding for some specific use. Now, what does the code look like? It's simple. I have very few things here. I know this might not be very visible, so I'll just open the site here. So like I said, I have a simple main JS application, and then I also Dockerize this so that when we build this thing, when the jar comes out, I can be able to build a Docker container and push it to the cloud, and then we could build all of that. So I'll quickly show a small demo of this application, and then we will do the cloud proceedings. Actually, it's already running. I'll stop and rerun. So I'm using the JetBrains IntelliJ IDE for that. But then you could also use Visual Studio. Somehow, for some reason, my Java extension isn't working, and then I don't want to take chances, and I'm just using that. So here I'm using the Postman. So Postman is kind of a client for running all of this. So what happened here, I'll explain you here. What happened is like we are running a student create update delete program. I mean, wherein it takes the student details through JSON into a map. And then if you see here, we are starting a endpoint on students on localhost 8080. Now let me see if we could access first of all localhost. Localhost 8080 not found. Great, it says, because it is not on that particular place. It is here and it shows empty. So if you see here, it shows an empty, like, the thing, the map here. So we have a student controller. Again, this code is very custom to Javelin and it's very easy to set up. So if you want to do a create, read, update, delete database control, you just need to implement this CRUD handler, and there are methods, and then you can do create, read, update, delete. Very simply, I use the map, make it very simple, not to complicate more with other DBs, their connections, etc. So I'm not doing all of that. See, when we did get connection, it calls like, all the get all connection, get all method. So when similarly, when you do get one with the ID, resource ID, it will bring up that particular thing. Similarly, all of this is again there on the GitHub. You could also go and look at that. Now without any delay, what I'll do is like I'm using Postman, because through which you could do this API calls, etc. There are also other tools. I'm just using Postman here. So I have this students, and then if I say get, right, so it just ignores the body that is there here. It says me empty. But what I'll do is like what I've done is like I've chosen the body, and I have raw, and I've selected JSON. Remember that I didn't have any authorization header. That means like if this is on cloud and everywhere, everyone could access. So what I have is like I have created a small sample thing here, and then I'll post it to the API. So we'll see whether it gives you a result. Okay, it worked, and then it has published. Now let us see if we could do some more. I don't know Rohit's age, but I'm assuming it's 23. I'm just guessing. So sorry, Rohit. I just took a guess. Then you also have tree, and then we're just putting more and more, names, and then like you have all of this, right? Then you do a get. Ideally, it should return everything. So it returns all of that. So if you see, it returns all three. Then status and everything. If you do so this is what our application does. If you do 001, it should return 1, 2, it will do that, and then like 3, yes, and then you could also patch it. I'm not showing that, and delete it, which we'll try on the cloud thing if we can deploy by the end of this session. So this is how the application works. This is what is happening here. You could also see the between these errors that are being popped up. I'll come to that very quickly. You also see the get all students, get student 1, the logs, etc. So what is this error and how we can fix this? So specifically what's happening here is the APM is trying to connect to the Elastic Stack or the APM server, and to push all the details that we need here so that you could have that view actually. So we are not doing that. We will do now. So what I added here is in the main class, I have this APM attacher, which attaches this entire main process, and then like it will start, the calls can be intercepted. Now you could also go and put an annotation. We also have an annotation through which you will be able to do only one specific code block. Right, you could also do that as well. So that is one another thing to look at. So you would also be able to do all of this pretty easily. Now let me come back and then add that. So I have this APM attacher library. I also have this imported because we have in the dependencies. And the another thing is like where it would connect. Right, you just can't put everything and like say just connect. It needs to give the server URL. So what happens here is you need to give the APM server URL, which we already have because we have deployed here. I'm saying copy endpoint and then pasting it here. Then I also have the secret token, which is a token specifically for the APM server because you can't accept anything and everything. So I have a secret token here. I'll just paste it there, and then I'll say save. And then what we'll do is like we can check it here. I have named the server as Javelin. So let us see if there is nothing here. Refresh, nothing. I don't have anything. Let me kickstart this thing again. And we'll see once whether our application is pushing, and then we'll push to cloud. We'll see that at least completes one cycle of the demo. and then we'll be able to look at things. So I'll not say last 15 minutes, at least last 5 minutes, and I'll also say last 1 second, and refresh it every time. So I know it might be very small, but I'll just try to, like, increase it as we go. So I'll just quickly want to give a nudge to this so that the basic thing would be created in a minute when the data is being sent. We'll also keep doing the same stuff because we restarted, the map might lose its memory. So let us quickly go and see everything. Students, it's empty. I'm doing a get. I'll do a post now, and what I'll do is, like, I'll just insert the same thing, right? Okay.
Again, sorry to
See.
interrupt you. If you want,
Okay.
you can go slow. Like we have pretty much time.
Okay, great. So
Like,
I'll quickly like keep doing the thing. I'll continue. So I have Rohit, and then I'll add one more thing, and then we have Confirm, which is like Suite 16, right? So we'll add that as well. Okay, I think I have updated the same thing, but let me also add. So get, we'll see what we'll get. So I have 3 items here, and now we did some operations, like we called the API, and we did some sort of, do all of this. So let me go and see whether this has come in or not. I'm not doing any sorcery here, but it simply came in, and then it also shows average response time, transactions per minute, and then errors. There are 0 errors. Okay, great. So we'll also see, okay, let me put it this way. So we'll also see that initial spikes because we are the ones who are sending the request here. Time spent, I'm selecting the request specifically, and then you also have the error rate, time spent by each span. Most importantly, we did get and post. We didn't do put, and we didn't do patch, or we didn't do the delete request. We can also do that. So most of it are gets, and then we also have, because it's a single span, it tells that what are the other details that happened. So this looks very, simple and easy. Actually, it is the same way. But I also want to tell you that when you are doing a complex microservice application, even there you would feel that you'll feel that you can construct all of this from there. Here, if you see, you could also look at the host logs, host metrics, that particular host, and the trace logs. That means whenever this request happened, whenever this error happened, you could go to that logs. How interesting it is. We don't have enough time to showcase the log side of things today. I'll show you another demo application, but then, like, that is quite cool, right? So you'll be able to debug everything. You would be able to trace and understand what's happening. You also see that there is one request which took more time. Just this is a swim lane, and then I have one request which took more time. I want to see which request is taking so much time. Why? What's the reason? Perhaps some reason that in my code something wrong. What is that code? So you could do all of that pretty easily, and it's quite amazing to go and look at all of that. What we'll do is, like, we'll quickly come back. We'll quickly, what we'll do is, like, we will also deploy this code onto the cloud, and then still keep monitoring the same stuff again from here. So I'm using, again, shifting gears from here, from IntelliJ. You would also be able to push all of this from IntelliJ. You have Docker for Mac, extension that you could add as a registry, and then push this from here. I am running a Docker for Mac thing, but then I chose Visual Studio because the ecosystem is quite good there. So what I'll do is, like, I'll delete the earlier repository so that we can push it freshly. So I have installed the Docker extension here. I also have Azure App Service. Once we push the data, and then you'll be able to simply do all of this pretty easily. So let me quickly. This is same code. Nothing has been changed. I'm just going to give few commands and build this container. Like, say, build this image. Say Java student, and then it goes through few steps. It's very lightweight. It is few MB. That way, Javelin is also very popular, and the capable. So now it is built. I'm just going to push this to a container registry. So the place where we could simply, like, access the images and push the image to the cloud. So where should I check this thing? So you could go to the Microsoft, like the Azure, and then you have container registries. Open that, and then you have this particular repository, which is dev-dish acr.io. Similarly, you have other container registries as well. So container registry is very, very popular. Like, you could store your containers just like Docker Hub, which is a public Docker, containers wherein people store their containers. People, if you do Docker pull, so and so. Similarly, you could also do Docker pull devdish.acr.io/javalin. I'll show you in a minute. So you could do all of that. So I have created a repository there just in before time. It's called devdish. So that registry I have created, and then I push this image. So if you see, the image has been pushed here. It says that the image is done. I'll go and click into this thing, and then it shows latest. From here, you could deploy into multiple services, to tag them, run in container instance, deploy to web app. You could do all of that. I chose to do things via my IDE, quite comfortable that way. So I just want to refresh here, and I'll also minimize this so that you get a clear view of what I'm doing. Yes. Okay. So you see that I have this particular thing, and then I don't know why it is showing this way today, but then this is quite useful if you do this. So okay, so you have this the same latest here, and then you could there are the yeah, so I think this is quite visible. So there are these right click menu items, like you could pull image digest, and untag image. Like I said, if you go detailed into that, you will see that, right? I have this Docker pull devdish dot so and so and so, and then you would also be able to push this, bring this container. And then it's like hosting your own container. What I choose to do is like deploy my own image at Azure App Service. So I'm just trying to create a website out of it so that you all can access. So I'll want to give this name as Javalin, just for the name of this particular, or let us do JCloud. That's good. It might take a while, but then we'll see if you could. Oh, JCloud exists. Okay. Javalin, I don't know. So maybe it's me who did this. It says create new app service plan. Yes, name of the app service plan, free, and then select new resources. I choose Southeast Asia because it's probably near, and then like I'm trying to do that. So I'm not sure whether there is an existing thing, but let me check. If there is an existing website, we could simply go while this is getting deployed. So let me check. No, there is no existing website. So we need to wait. So while this is happening, I'll show you the links. Once this comes up, you can open your own Postman, and then you kind of like be able to create this, call this API service, and then generate the data, and we could see the data in the APM service as well. So it says successfully created. You could also go to javalin.azurewebsites.in. I click open website, says yes, open websites, and then it takes a while because it's loading for the first time on public internet, so it needs to figure out some stuff, and then it connects me to my site, and then my web service is also up. So we have created a full-fledged circle through this thing. Now let me show you, while this is loading up, let me show you the other stuff. Now if you want to access the resources, how I created the thing, or you want to comment on or ask questions, like in future, not just now, I'm anyway here, but then you could use the link here that is shown, ela.st/java-apm. Then there is community.elastic.co. You could also register there for all the future updates, like these talks, etc. There is a Slack group that you could also go. I'll ping onto the YouTube link, and then like you'll also be able to join the Slack group for asking more questions. So I hope this is ready. I hope this is showing application error. That's great. Let me go and say students. Okay, something wrong. So what we'll do is like the ideally it should come up. I am not sure why it is not coming up. Let me see if the old website is still there. I don't think even that is there. So yeah, this web app has been stopped. I don't know what's the reason, but then like what happens is like you could simply able to deploy this entire thing, and then run this from your cloud itself. So that's it from my talk. If you have any questions, I think I've seen some questions. Happy to take them now.